Hello, my name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. I'm here on a special interview with Terri Batch, who's the CEO of Global LA. We're talking about Los Angeles. She knows a lot about Los Angeles and what the future holds because of her planning and leadership. And it relates to the Olympics because Los Angeles is hosting for the third time the Olympics in 2028. Here we are in 2024, about to start the Paris Olympics. And undoubtedly, there are some things she's working on connected to this current Olympics. So, Terri, thank you for joining us today. Would love to first just get grounded to understand a little bit more about you and Global LA. Could you let us know a little bit more about what it's all about and what the mission is?
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. And I've known about the Global Chamber for many years. I think I remember when you started it. So it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I will tell you, Global LA is a nonprofit organization. It's a public-private partnership that was established by the Los Angeles Mayor's Office, the Mayor's Office of International Affairs. And it was set up with the mission to promote Los Angeles on the global stage ahead of all of the upcoming events, which includes the Olympics, but there's also the World Cup in 2026. We just concluded the Copa America tournament that took place. Some of the games happened here in LA, but it also includes the Super Bowl that's coming back, the NBA All-Star Game. There's all sorts of sporting events that are happening in Los Angeles where the world's eyes are on this city. And so the mayor's office recognized that this was an opportunity to promote the city and to get the narrative out there about doing business in Los Angeles. And so Global LA was established so that there was a mechanism for LA to tell its story and to show the diversity of businesses and industries that exist here and to attract more.
Fantastic. How does that translate into like some specific projects and successes so far?
So I've been on the job for about 9 months. And I'll tell you, when I stepped into this role, um, I had to come in to an organization that was established under a previous mayor. So we're currently under Mayor Karen Bass. And I've been doing the work of reestablishing this organization. It was established during COVID. So a lot of things were virtual at the time. And so now we're back to normal business operating. And so people are meeting in person and things of that nature. And so a lot of my role right now has been just going and introducing Global LA to the local business community so that they know that this organization exists. They know the work that's being done to promote the city to a global audience. So, so far the wins have been, going to our local business partners and, whether it's the LA Chamber or the World Trade Center or BizFed or LAEDC or the numerous chambers around Los Angeles to let them know that this entity exists and what the city is trying to accomplish. And LA is a very global place. So I'm working with the consulates that are here and working with the international business community that's already here and that's already thriving has been part of my focus in the first few months that I've been here, and also developing the message of how will we tell the story about Los Angeles because there's so much to know. And it's interesting. People think LA, they think they know LA because they know Hollywood or they know about Beverly Hills or Santa Monica. But there's so much more to the story. And really, the goal of Global LA is to tell the story of LA in its totality, to make sure we're highlighting areas in South LA, highlighting areas in East LA, places that if I'm a foreigner, they're not the first things that are top of mind when I think about Los Angeles. So we want to make sure that these areas are not areas that are left out of the story. And so I would say that's kind of been some of the major accomplishments of making sure that the story is being told in its totality and including the communities in Los Angeles that need the investment the most as well.
We had our global chamber Los Angeles Advisory Board Chair Jeff Darr talk about doing business in Los Angeles from a global perspective. And I was blown away by the data and just like the numbers of universities that are in Los Angeles and the global activity that's happening in Los Angeles, the scale of the economic work that's done, and how, as you say, how really global Los Angeles is, perhaps the most global, or certainly one of the most global cities in the United States, with the UN in New York and all of the consulates in Washington, D.C. I think you could make an argument on any of those three, but on the business side, LA is is amazing. And so congratulations on the progress and the projects and the successes so far. How are you leveraging all of that and pulling all that together and getting ready for the Paris Olympics to be able to set the stage for 2028?
Well, it's interesting. Like I said, in terms of like going out and introducing Global LA locally, really the mandate for Global LA is to be out internationally. So one of the things that I've done already, and we're a week out from the start of the Paris Olympics, and I'm happy to say that I've been to Paris and I'm back home already. And, it was really strategic for me to go to Paris ahead of the Olympics so that I could get the audience with the business community in Paris prior to the Olympics starting. I mean, I would love to be there for the opening ceremonies, I won't lie, but really in order for me to accomplish what I needed to accomplish, it was more effective for me to go beforehand. And I'll tell you why. When I went, and this was 2 weeks ago, at the beginning of July. I worked with the U.S. Embassy in Paris and with the commercial section, and those folks were able to set up a promotional event for Los Angeles. And basically, in that room were businesses that were either executing the Paris Olympics. So these are folks that were doing the structures or building the temporary structures or providing some type of innovative technology for the Paris Olympics. And they're very interested in what's going to happen in LA and how do they do business in Los Angeles. So I was able to captivate that audience and talk about the complexity of Los Angeles and to say that, people think LA, they think LA is just a city, but it's really more than a city. It's really a whole economy. LA County is the 17th largest economy in the world. So breaking that down for them and showing them LA on a map and showing them that it's not just LA City, but it's also LA County. It's also the Southern California region. So depending on where you're trying to establish your business is going to be different rules, different requirements, things of that nature, and just explain that complexity to them. And also talking about, that there is help. It's not like they have to come and do it alone. And the nice thing about Los Angeles is Los Angeles has a very strong French community. France is the number 2 investor into the Los Angeles County region. A lot of people don't know that. So that's like surprising, right? You wouldn't realize there's so many French companies that are already here. They have a very involved French consulate, like you said, outside of New York and DC. I think LA has the most consulates, and the French consulate is very active. They also earlier this year opened a Business France office, which is the organization by the French government to help promote French businesses doing business in Los Angeles. So there's a lot of great connections already there. And so my goal with going to Paris was to say, hey, Global LA is here to support and to help you, help guide you. You also have all these other resources, knowing that it is complex to come here and do business, but it's not impossible because there's so many French companies that are here already anyway. And, there's French companies that I don't even think that we realize they're French because they're so ingrained into our society. For instance, I was telling them about the billboards. There's over 6,500 billboards that's owned by a company called JC Deco. I think I'm not quite sure the French pronunciation, but if you pay attention to the billboards, it's always at the bottom, JC Deco, and that's a French company. 6,500 in Los Angeles, and even different projects like the People Mover that's being built at LAX airport that's being worked on by a French company. So there's a lot of presence here, and and just looking to strengthen those ties and build those ties out further, and also welcome those businesses, because we know that when those businesses come, not only do they come and help to make our local economy more vibrant, but they also create jobs. And that's the ultimate goal behind Global LA. So attract that foreign direct investment, but also to create local jobs for our communities.
To that end, and considering the partnership or collaboration, at least with the French on the French side of things, are there significant partnerships or collaborations we should know about that are either in the works, kind of getting ready for 2028 or before?
Well, I would say Business France for sure. That opened their office here in Los Angeles earlier this year. I think partly the reason why they opened that office was because they are anticipating French companies that want to come to LA, and they want to offer that support. And also when I was there, I met with some really interesting organizations. So there's an organization called La French Tech that also has a presence here in Los Angeles. They're based in the Century City region, or Century City area. And that's helping French tech companies that want to come to the Los Angeles. And that's a whole community of French tech companies that are already here that meet, and they meet about quarterly at the French consulate. But I also met with like the French Healthcare Association, where there's health tech companies that are interested in Los Angeles. I also met with an organization called Cosmetic Valley, that are French cosmetics, and the French cosmetics are very famous. Obviously, my 17-year-old daughter used what is it? I don't even want to mispronounce the word, but all of their skincare is French skincare. And then also there's an organization called uh, France Sports Expertise, and those are France Sports Expertise. And I met with that group, and that's an organization that's put together. It's kind of similar to Global LA, where it's a group of companies that are looking. They all have an expertise in offering sports technology, to contributing towards to the Olympic Games, but they also are looking at expanding now that the games are going to be executed. They're looking for their next opportunity, and so they were very interested. That's a great partnership to have, because all of those companies are under that umbrella. So the partnerships are definitely there. I don't want to say they're endless, but there is very ripe ground, and can be very fruitful in terms of establishing relationships between LA and French organizations that are keen on doing business and partnering with Los Angeles.
Fantastic. That's encouraging.
Mhm.
Considering all of that, then what does success look like for you and what you're doing relative to the Paris Olympics, the 2028 Olympics in LA, and in between? What are you looking to achieve from all of that, and what would be some of the outcomes if all goes as we would expect and everything is successful as you're implementing today?
Well, I will tell you, success for me looks like attracting businesses to Los Angeles and creating jobs. I mean, the my KPI is how many jobs has Global LA created? And obviously, that's a long-term goal. It's not something that happens in a year. And it's not, because I'm almost a year into this role. It's not something that happens in 6 months once you meet someone. And I just now starting to do international activities for in this role. So really, success is establishing relationships that will help lead to those companies coming to Los Angeles, setting up an office, setting up operations, and hiring locally. That's what success looks like in the long term. In the short term, it is telling LA story, getting out there, being present, letting LA have a presence on the international arena, in the international arena, and talking about all the different things that LA has to offer for businesses. Why would a business want to come here? And it's very counter to some of the negative media that's out there, especially about California or even Los Angeles. You know, there's folks are saying people are leaving, and yes, that is true, but there's also a lot of people staying, and there's also still people coming, and it's showing why are people coming, because this is an attractive market. It's a great there's diversity here, diversity not only in people but also in industry sectors. There's core sectors and that there's 6 priority areas that I focus on in terms of promoting, and those are, people always ask me, what are your 6, Terri? Is biotech and life sciences, is aerospace and space, the space industry. It is also, I'm gonna make sure I don't butcher this, sustainability and clean tech. So anything in the green economy, transportation and logistics, knowing that we have the busiest seaports and one of the busiest airports in the world, advanced manufacturing. And these are all sectors that when you think of LA, they might not be the first ones that you think of. But in addition to those 5, there's also entertainment, because LA is known for entertainment, and also the tech sectors, entertainment and tech. So it's around those industry sectors. When I'm out there telling the story about Los Angeles, I'm talking about all the wonderful things that are happening in these industries that when people think LA, they might not think about these things first. So that's what success looks like in the medium term, telling the story, which I'm starting to do, and then in the long term, attracting those businesses that are creating jobs locally that will, and good paying jobs. So these are jobs where people can raise families, and people can afford to live in Los Angeles. Those are the types of jobs that we're looking to create and attract to this region.
Fantastic. My final question, and then wrapping up, um, who would you like to meet, and how can we help Global LA?
Who would I like to meet? That's a good question. I'd like to meet anyone that is interested in helping to execute on this vision. I mean, obviously, right now I'm a one-person shop, which this is not a one-person job. I need a whole army of people, one, telling the story about Los Angeles and what makes LA great. I'm almost countering that narrative that's out there. So I would like to meet anyone who is interested in getting behind this effort with me. And everybody has a role to play. I feel like I'm the drum major here, leading the charge, but there has to be more than, more than just me doing this. And there are others. I think every organization is trying to see how that can they leverage the fact that the Olympics is coming to LA, and provide value to their members, and drive economic vitality for this region. So and then how can you help me? There's a number of ways you can help me. I'm always looking for members. I think we've talked about the Global Chamber becoming an official partner with Global LA, and I'm at the point now where I'm ready for that. But also, this is a public-private partnership that is funded primarily through membership. So we do have a membership, different levels of membership and benefits that it would get for a company that would want to be a member. And we have various supporters as well, that are supporting Global LA, but I'm definitely looking to grow the membership base. That will ensure the sustainability of the organization, and that we can continue to do this work leading up to the Olympics in LA, but also beyond. This is something that as someone that's been in international trade my entire career, this is something that's been a missing piece in LA. LA hasn't been out there telling its story. So I would love to see this organization be sustainable and be part of the legacy of the 2028 games, to say that LA stood up this type of an organization to make sure that we're leveraging our economic advantage, and all the advantages that this region has to offer to attract businesses here. So hopefully that answers your question.
Absolutely. You love LA. I love LA. Well, millions of people love LA, and more will love LA through your
Yes.
efforts. Thank you for the time today. Thank you for sharing all of that. And if any of you are interested in contacting Terri, please go to the Global LA website, reach out to us at Global Chamber. We're strong supporters of Terri and the work at Global LA. And enjoy the Olympics, Terri. And thank you again for taking the time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I hope you enjoy it as well. I love the Eiffel Tower in the background. It looks great. And it's beautiful when it's lit up at night. So I wish your listeners well, and definitely get in touch if this is something that you want to get behind and support. I'm all for having more hands help me with this effort. So thank you.